Since I was a child, I had a dream of making a difference, and the best way to make a difference is to help people. Depends, whatever is good for you. That materialized when I watched The Terminator, basically, at the age of, I think, 14. And that fascinated me, the idea about making a human being have machine parts. In the 16th century, a French surgeon invented the socket prosthesis, and to this day there hasn't been any dramatic changes. Osseointegration, on the other hand, is a direct attachment between a titanium implant and the bone, and it becomes one solid object. And then that comes out through an opening in the skin where it's attached to the robotic prosthesis, and that create a much superior biomechanics, a much superior power to move the leg. I grew up in Baghdad. It was a very cosmopolitan city, pretty much like Sydney. It was very green, very vibrant. At primary school, one day Saddam came and visited the school, and he was very tall, very solid looking guy. And then I went to high school. I met several relatives of Saddam, including Saddam's sons, Uday and Qusay. But my memory of them, they were pretty much thugs. After finishing medical school, I worked in Baghdad University Hospital, and it used to be called back then Saddam Center. And busloads of army deserters stopped in front of the hospital, and the Republican guards or the military police, as well as members of the Ba'ath Party, came in with an official document ordering the doctors in the hospital to stop the elective lists and start performing surgical mutilation to these people. It's basically against the principles of being a doctor. So the easiest way was to escape to the change room, and I had to hide in the female toilet. And I managed to run away, and then that was the last time I saw the hospital and the last time I saw Baghdad, basically. The journey to Australia took several days and moved from Iraq to Jordan to Malaysia to Jakarta in Indonesia, and then I ended up jumping on a leaky boat. It was a small fishing boat, and we discovered that there were 165 refugees on board this boat. There was no space to sit down. Everybody had to stand up, and they filled every single space on the boat. And there were a mixture of people. There was the good and the bad and the ugly on that boat. After arriving to Australia, after spending 5 days in Christmas Island, we entered the detention centre, and it was in the middle of the desert in Curtin. And then the first thing we noticed is that we were tagged with numbers. People were not called by their names, they were called by numbers. And that became my new name for 10 months, 982. I can't describe how bad it was. Isolated completely from the outside environment. No newspapers, no access to any mode of communication outside. All what we do is waste time and waste taxpayers' money. And then all of that changed in August 2000. As soon as I was released, every door in Australia opened in front of me, basically. And it was a completely life change. I would love to go and visit Curtin once in my lifetime just to see the way it is. What I'm against is that the way that people are treated is inhumane. In Europe, they're dealing with hundreds of thousands of migrants every year. We're dealing with a very small number, and I think in one way we can show that Australia has more compassion. I learned from my father that you have to make use of every single thing around you. Inside a detention center, I was trying to teach people how to read and write English, and I was enjoying it. And when I was in other situations, I tried to teach people how to play chess. And when I was on solitary confinement, I tried to teach myself how to study anatomy. Basically, you just live the moment and make use of it completely, because after all, I believe that we have a duty in our life, and we have to pass it on to others.